Welcome back, everyone, to the Complete Pineleaf. We are here just outside of Stangard, where last time we helped to defend Stangard from the Easterlings, and now we're here to speak with Ifing, who seems to be sitting outside of the stronghold. Why?
Oh, uh, I'm sorry. I cannot seem to clear my head.
Oh, where am I? I saw something, and then it was dark, and I could not see far into the night. But I saw a figure in the darkness. I thought it was one of my men returned from a patrol in Easmead, but then well, it rather hissed at me. I approached and demanded that the stranger identify himself, but then everything went black. I fell down, and only now have I come back to my senses. The shape came from the northwest, I think atop the rising slope. You can look for it there if you like. I'll stay here. I'm still not right, I fear. Alright, I'll look for this figure to the northwest and see if it's there. Maybe up near those ruins? The enemy sometimes like sniffing around in the ruins, so perhaps there's something here. A booted footprint in the mud seems to mark the presence of the hissing figure. What's it like in here? The footprint is of heavily mailed foot, clearly wearing a mailed boot. Well, yes. Interesting. Well, that's all I found up here. I found a footprint.
You found a booted footprint? I wonder what it means.
Can you tell who it was that attacked me? You try to console Ifing to assure him that he is in no more danger, but you have few words to comfort. You know what it is that befell him. Ifing ran afoul with the Nazgul, succumbing to the black breath, the stench of death and foul instrument of the Nine. He is fortunate that the creature must have been hurried for some unknown reason, or he would certainly have been killed. He was lucky, but your fortune seems poor. The whereabouts of the Nazgul remains unknown. Where is the Nazgul? It appears that these Rohirrim who encounter this shape are always in the middle of nowhere. Well, I suppose that's where Nazgul like to go.
I have always prided myself on courage. But last night.
I should not be out here. I wanted to be a farmer, but my father said I should follow my older brothers, and, well, here I am. And last night, well, I can't explain it. Something spooked the goats, and I climbed up the ridge to investigate, and that's when I heard it. Something was, how can I describe it? It was a sniffling sound, like someone with a cold. But there was something about the snuffling sound that made my blood run cold, and I approached the milling goats. I saw that I was not the only one disturbed by the sound. The eyes of the goats were wild, and they stamped the ground, desperate to get away. Something from something. Something moved among them, low to the ground. It made no sound but that snuffling, as if it was smelling for something. I ran. I ran and ran, and I feel as if my heart had only now calmed itself. If you decide to visit the goats at the enclosures to the north and to the southwest, use caution. The thing might come back. Well, it's unlikely to come back during the daytime, based on my experience with them, but I suppose I could check the boat pens, and there's one right over here. Hmm? Not much of an enclosure. Nothing unusual. It must have gone, I guess. Right? And what about the other side? Here's the other enclosure, which I don't think it encloses very well, but that's just my opinion. I see nothing unusual here. Well then, everything is nice and normal, so nothing to worry about. Well, except for a Nazgul that's running around that I apparently can't find.
I suppose I may have imagined it.
You didn't see anything there? Just goats? Well, yeah, I know what you saw, but maybe it's best not to tell him about that. I'm not cut out for this sort of thing, Pineleaf. My brothers are bold and courageous, and would certainly not have been frightened. Well, I'm not going to make any bets on that matter. And my sister, she's a handmaiden of the Golden Hall in Edoras, and she would have marched right up to that whatever it was and given it a tongue lashing that would not forget. And not like me, yes. Well, oh well. I am the one who is here, and I am doing my best. I hope my father and brothers and sister are proud, or will be. Thank you again. You're welcome. Well, yeah, maybe I'm not going to tell him the details about what was certainly there, but I think I need to continue my search. Testing, one, two, three. I found an elf here. Hello there. Did you see any strange signs around here?
I saw something on the shore, but when I approached it fled.
It was dark as pitch in the cold watches of the night, and I walked the shore of the Anduin, and I thought I saw. No, I did see a darker patch of shadow in the space between the trees. When I approached, it fled. It moved with a lurching step, sliding low upon the ground, but it moved quickly, and for some reason I cannot explain, I was loath to close the distance. I lost it in the dark. But I know the name of this appearance. Limthir looks from side to side, and then speaks in a voice barely above a whisper. Its name is Nazgul. Bring word to Fimloth at Halderith that one of those fell creatures is loose somewhere in Thingolad. Well, yeah, and I'm looking for that thing. I was sent here to give you a warning that one of the nine is about.
Are you sure? A Nazgul?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Fimlo stares off into the distance for a time, deep in thought. Then she shakes her head and turns back to you. This is disturbing news, Pineleaf, but I believe a single one of the nine cannot endanger Lothlorien, not while Lady Galadriel retains her power. And she does. You need not worry about that account. All of the nine together would pose a more serious threat. But Our Lady still governs, and her power still keeps the borders of Lorien safe. Thank you for these tidings from Limthir, but it seems to me this Nazgul poses more danger to the men south of here than to the elves north of here in the Golden Wood. Very well, I shall see if I could find any way to help them. Hello there, have you seen anything else of interest out in the fields?
After you left, I went searching on my own, and, well,
Yes, I was just thinking about you as a result, and was wondering if you ever found what you were seeking. I am not a coward, Pineleaf. I have stood unblinking before a shrieking mass of goblins, and not given way before a charging war band of Kundalar Easterlings. And I have even stood my ground when my wife was in one of her tempers. Well, mostly stood my ground, yes. Anyway, but at certain sights in the battlefield, my courage was quite drained away. I felt uneasy, and everything seemed to get cold. Will you go to some of these sites? I will mark them on this map. Look at the rubble in the crumbling corner of Ostkellebrand, a grassy ledge overlooking the fast-flowing river, and by one of the stone bridges over the river. I want to know what is happening out there, Pineleaf. I am ashamed to have to felt this way. There must be a reason. Well, yeah, I'll have to see if I can find the reason. I could make a pretty good guess what it is, and it starts with an N and has 6 letters in it. One of these is at this bridge over here. Let's see. This looks like a place that he may have been examining. Feel nothing unusual by the bridge. Your prey did not travel this way. Oh well. And I think the other points are inside this ruined city over here, so I'll need to find an entrance. Here's the main entrance. And the entrance here is a bridge. Now that's how to protect the city. Already going to be getting into here if you are having to cross the bridge all the way through, though it's a bit of a wide bridge, which might make it a little bit easier to get in. But I'm going to have to get through these guys in order to get to the marked locations, unfortunately. But I will prevail, and I will get through. This appears to be near one of the locations. I think that we'll have to take care of some of these brigands here that seem to be in league with the ghosts. Either that or they're not afraid of them. Not sure which one. But they're not my worry anymore. Perhaps they were sifting through this. Anything here? Loose stones crunch underfoot, but you do not feel anything out of the ordinary. Oh well. There seems to be one more marked location that's deeper in the city. Yeah, I think this is the final location. They seem to have more of these oath breakers around here. I wonder what this is all about. Perhaps after I find out about this Nazgul, I could learn the story about these folk. Because we already had to fight some of them when we were looking at the first bit of locations. Nothing out of the ordinary. Ooh, well. I didn't see anything unusual there.
Did you experience anything strange while you explored the sites?
So it must have been all in my head then. Good. Thank you for settling my mind at ease. Whatever it was that instilled in me such uncommon fear may have moved on, but it is good to see it still had an effect on those sights. I knew I was no coward. The word Nazgul dances in the forefront of my mind, which I think is a word that I will not tell him to his face, because I'm sure he's not going to like it. Oh, hello, Edbrit. What happened?
Something has made the Gredbig here more aggressive than they used to be.
You defeated some of the Gredbig before you went to the Brownlands. Did you notice anything unusual about them? Well, I have. On my way back from the carcass of the beast, I was set upon by a group of Gredbig. I fought them off, but I noticed something peculiar. As they lay twitching beneath the sword strokes, their blood seemed to boil, like water over a roiling flame. Is this the cause of their newfound aggression? I want you to defeat the Gredbig and collect samples of their blood. See if the blood boils and bubbles. What could have caused it? I could guess, but alright, I'll see if these Gredbig around here have boiling blood. And you said Gredbig, not Easterlings. Ah, here's one right here. It's hard to see it through all the reeds here. Can I throw a javelin through these reeds? Whee! There you go. Oops. And now, oh, hold on there. Hey, you're spinning the wrong way, you know. The Grodbach blood is boiling hot to the touch. Ooh, so he's not imagining things. For once, I'm able to see some evidence that hasn't disappeared by the time I arrived. See, that's an Avok. Ah, here's a Grodbach. So let's try this one. And see if this one has anything unusual. Is the blood boiling in all of them, or just a few of them? Well, still very, very hot, that's for sure. Well, what about... Ah, here's another one. Just to see if it's uniform in there, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I kill a few extra of these in any case, right? Something tells me they're not exactly worried about their population stability. The Grodbach blood bubbles, but is no longer boiling. Okay, it seems to be cooling off a little bit. That's good, I suppose. Ah, here's another one. Finding them is sometimes rather tricky. I hope I get a good enough sample size. I think he wanted about half a dozen of these. The Grodbach blood is cool to the touch. Well, it's cooling down. I guess that's a good sign. I've brought back the samples. It started out pretty hot, but they seem to be cooling down now.
Interesting. Seems that whatever causes blood to boil has moved on.
As time went on, the blood you collected ceased to boil. What type of creature could have thus affected the Gredbig? Whatever it may be, its presence alone was enough to make the blood of the Gredbig boil and boil. And when it moved on, the blood gradually ceased to boil. What evil is this, that his mere presence can so enrage creatures of nature? Well, I think I know what that would be. Well then, let's get back to Nun. I think I've found out it's been moving all over the place, but I've got no idea where it is now. The writer didn't return, I presume?
We have learned much of this creature, but not what we need to know.
Yes, where has the writer gone? And what cruel fate has kept us one step behind it in every turn? I've got no idea on that.
The creature was looking for something. We need to think.
This writer, what was the word you used? Nazgul. The creature was looking for something. We need to think. It brought us on a chase through these lands, but I cannot tell what it sought, or if it found what it desired. We have no choice but to return to the village of those horse lords. I will wait outside while you speak with that man Horn. We are strangers in this land. He is not. He may know the place we have not yet searched. Well, there is that. There is that. And will we find anything? We'll have to find that out in the next episode of The Complete Pineleaf.